Also could be flexed.
Caitlyn.
Oh.
That might mean that Lucian
Oh, boy.
could be headed mid.
We'll see if they
Could
do
be
lock
Lucian
it
top.
in as down to the wire. There it is. Caitlyn going to be locked in. That
Is it
means
Kate
that
mid?
she should be
No.
in the bottom lane. Let's wait and see what kind of swaps they go for. Maybe it'll just be Weiser hopping onto Lucian top.
So I'm really curious to see where the Lucian is going to... What if it's Lucian jungle?
Yeah.
Valdez? What if it's
that
just
makes
Rek'Sai top?
The most sense to me.
Probably not going to be the case, as there are 12 seconds remaining. I think they are trying to conceal this as long as possible. 5 seconds.
Shealy wants to hold up that bag and advertise whatever that snack was.
All right, so it is going to be Lucian going into the top lane there against the Kennen. And that'll be Akali facing off against a Aatrox in the middle lane.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the two team comps in just a second here.
It's definitely doesn't happen very often, but it certainly does feel like SANDBOX are flexing quite a bit coming into game 2.
Kennen, Olaf, Aatrox, Vayne, and right at the very end there, Braum for Gen G. And this is the type of team composition I just talked about. Winning, or potentially winning mid, jungle, and top. Aatrox does have a matchup that he can take over in mid. And you have the scaling component for Ruler down there on the Vayne. And now, on the flip side for SANDBOX, Caitlyn and Morgana down there in the bottom lane against the Vayne Braum. Akali paired with the Rek'Sai in the mid lane. And on the top side, you have the Lucian. So when you put both team compositions against one another, there's definitely a lot of explosiveness. The bottom lane focus for Ghost and Joker. Top lane focus, can Kennen get a lead against the Lucian? If he can't, Genji's comp just falls apart on top of itself.
Yeah, so excited to get into this one. We'll see if Genji can come back and secure an LCK spot by making it into Game 3, or will we hop into Game 2? And let's find out now. I have no idea what that intro was, by the way. It kind of felt like 3 ideas were bouncing around in my head, and it was like, I just combined all 3 of them together. Just play-by-play things. You know, we're kind of just reading off a script at some point.
Well, in this game, Ruler standing on top of a ward right now.
Will she go trap first? No. Oh, she did, but Ghost not quite able to get in range. And with minions spawning, that means that Ruler has to use his one and only pot. So, 3-0 on the Vayne, by the way.
Already off to a really rough start, though, is Ruler on this Vayne down here in bottom lane. Joker going for a binding right there, ends up whiffing. So we'll have to see how the laning phase is conducted. Can Ruler survive against Ghost's Caitlyn is the question. This is the first pick for Ghost on the Kate. We'll have to see how proficient he is at the spacing. This is actually something that I always enjoy watching, because there's really a difference between World Elite level Caitlyn's and just your average professional Caitlyn when it comes down to the spacing and the amount of pressure that one can exert. But Genji.
Oh boy. Red buff into the bottom lane. There's no black shield. See you later. First blood. Gonna go over to Peanut on the Olaf. There's that early game ganking you were looking for.
And it completely offsets all the pressure and problems that were just present early on, and that's gonna be a fantastic start here for Ruler on this Vayne. And probably, or most certainly, not what SANDBOX were hoping for at the very start of this. That's a really good undertow, actually, by Peanut. Certainly helps out Roach in shoving this wave in.
He's looking to affect every lane at the same time and get double scuttle himself. Peanut really angry after game 1, perhaps. And really trying to put on the hurt here in game number 2. Gonna get so much value so far.
Binding ends up hitting quite a bit of damage taken out of life. Not the end of the wall. lane is actually coming into Joker and Ghost, but they seem intent on trying to shove Ruler back underneath his turret.
Yeah, I mean, Caitlyn Morgana, it's a bottom lane that's been around for a long time. It's extremely oppressive. Obviously, can be pretty good into the main with that extra range that the Caitlyn does have. The ability for Morgana to help out with that one. You see the pushing that also does come from Caitlyn Morgana, where you just throw down the pool into the back line, and then one Q from the Caitlyn can just wipe out the entire wave. So that's really going to be the game plan for them here to dominate this lane.
And now the plates are finally under siege here from Ghost and Joker. Really like the trap placement. Completely restricts access to that little area underneath the bottom turret. And this is a rough spot, even though the Olaf was able to come bot extremely early and offset the pressure. Now imagine what this lane would look like right now had he not done that.
Yeah.
Would definitely be a nightmare fiasco. As Ghost and Joker, they want to get at least that plate before recalling. They do end up getting it. Binding misses.
Yeah. You notice that Ruler did not go TP in this lane, had to take the heal, and was forced to use it earlier on. Probably when he was binded. He's going to miss that nearly the entire wave. He's going to get there in time for the XP of 2 ranged minions. So certainly not ideal for Ruler after the gank.
Now Ruler trying to run up inside of the lane. They're not going to be able to cancel any of the recalls. Meanwhile, on the top side, Kennen is doing pretty good here against Weiser's Lucian. Juve doing quite an impressive job as Lucian being forced to recall first. Also should be noted that Kennen has Kleptomancy.
Yeah.
Not the press the attack as Peanut heading on over to the Dragon. I guess just seeing if Rek'Sai was perhaps soloing it. He makes his way into the mid lane. Maybe wants to set up a kill with Roach here. They don't have a Kali Shroud out though, and she just got 6. It's really unfortunate timing.
I believe there was a ward as well that just timed out next to the ward that's south of here, next to that blue one. And yeah, you mentioned the level 6 and a Kali there onto the Trox. Going to continue the hurt as Roach would really like his own level 6, does eventually get it here. It's going to be 3 scuttles now going the way of Peanut as well, so dominating in the jungle.
And this is a rough spot to be in right now as Roach. You have a non-cannon minion wave crashing onto your turret. And so Peanut going to have to wrap back around, collect the experience from it so that the XP and gold does not go to waste. And so Dove is doing quite good there in the middle lane. Ruler back down here in bottom, getting shoved in. Yet another plate set to go the way of Ghost and Joker.
There it is, and you can just see the zoning control, even standing on that W of the Morgana. It's just going to do that ticking damage, a bunch of traps already out. And it's just non-stop pushing that, honestly, Vayne Braum can do nothing against other than farm under turret. It's exactly what they're going to do.
And that's mostly the story of the bottom lane is how long can Ruler and Life hang on as Peanut maybe wanting to do yet another gank down here in bottom lane. You can say he's right on the outskirts of the vision. And he's going to cast the Predator. Here he comes.
It's really fast as well. They don't even react right away. He's level 6. Not going to land that stun, though. Ghost saying, thanks for the boost, mate. I'm going to head my way out of this lane. As now Crush is surprisingly level 6, actually able to get there even after losing all 3 scuttles. Makes his way down and says, don't hurt my bottom lane. We want them to continue pushing.
Well, now all of the control is in SANDBOX's favor on the right-hand side. Ruler and Life under enormous amounts of pressure. Weiser finishing a culling up there in top lane, leaving Cuvée with about a quarter HP remaining. What a nice shot by the observers here.
Yeah. I love when that super zoom out gets used as, ooh, looks like he leased that red a little bit too far. He's looking to steal it with the help of the control ward, and he is still sticking around with the priority he has in the bottom lane.
Well, Ruler and Life still under a lot of pressure. That's going to be another plate going over the way of Ghost and Joker. But the gold score at the top, despite all of these plates, still extremely even. Obviously, a lot of that must be inside of the Kleptomancy for Kennen, as well as the First Blood kill and assists.
I mean, you can consider the amount of gold that has been taken down on the bottom side. It's 160 times 3, whatever that is. I'm from NA, so I have a little bit of trouble with that one.
480, Brendan.
Oh, okay, thank you. So, you know, just the Klepto and the First Blood is going to be around the same, if not more. You can see Binding here is going to land as the trap coming in too, and Joker is going to try to release that onto Peanut. Can't quite stay in lane, or rather in range. And so they do get away after a bunch of summoners are blown.
Not able to get it in the end. Oh, Undertow comes over, actually chunks Crush for quite a bit of HP. And so Dragon will not be going the way of either team just yet. But a lot more poke now coming out from Ghost and Joker. Peanut looking to maybe collect his Raptor camp here.
It's a good one for the Olaf, but Dove trying to make it interesting. Steals 3 of the popcorn chickens. As now he's trying to go 1v2 here. Aatrox does have a bunch of AoE, but he's trying to get that assassination. Peanut comes back and nearly gives him the kill. But he's actually doing a nice job kiting them, forces Crush to go for the flash to pick up the kill. World Ender going to be nice dodge there, but the World Ender does go off right at the last moment, and the flash over the wall will give Genji the win 2-1 in terms of kills.
And so a very close call for them. It was a good rotation by Weiser to come all the way down. And so Cuvée, though, because of this, is going to be able to get a bit of farm. Weiser also forced to miss the cannon wave. And perhaps Kennen will be able to get a plate up here in top lane, as Lucian does not have the culling available, but it doesn't seem like Cuvée knows that. As he backs up, we can see that Dove comes in here, steals a couple of the popcorn chicken, as you mentioned. And then it was a guessing game for Roach on where he would try to hit. Peanut came right back in through the Undertow. And then Crush right here, you can see it was a guessing game on which Tremor, I believe, was Peanut. Ended up having to flash in the end. It was a nice cancel right there. Not able to get the kill.
Culling used, but good flash there from Roach, gets him to safety, and now Genji actually using their Olaf for that early gank, and some pressure now onto the Rift Herald already, and this time it would be taken prior to 14, so they could even get some plates, which is not what SANDBOX were able to do in game number 1, so this is going to go the way of Genji. In fact, nice pick off. Might even just use it right up towards the top side, as even Life's getting in there to help out.
Herald being summoned in top lane. There's still 2 minutes on the plate, so you can guarantee that they are going to get all of these, as Ghost himself will get the First Blood turret pickup. And that Caitlyn is absolutely massive.
Caitlyn's got an insane amount of gold. I mean, she's going to have IE, she's going to be headshotting and doing insane damage. She's going for more pushing. As Genji just gave up on the bottom lane, they said, no, we can't deal with this. Let's go for a push in the top side. As 4 members, not including Roach here, are continuing to push. They want to get at least one more charge. And Cuvée now looking for the flank, trying to get that 3-man out. The 3-man's done as well. In she goes and takes down 2. It's only going to be Joker left over. That's going to be 3 kills. Nicely done from Genji to make it happen. Unfortunately, Life goes down to the minions as nobody wanted to tank for him.
So it will end up being a 3-for-1, and can Dove turn this around?
Trying to turn it around, but actually getting himself into
World
an
Ender.
immense amount of trouble here. The flash in from Ruler, and, well,
tagged by the Ignite.
there you go. Ignite comes in. Roach will be able to finish that off, and now he's all of a sudden 3-0.
On the flip side, though, Caitlyn got another turret down there in bottom, and Ghost did get a lot of solo experience as well as CS during all of this. So at the end of the day, the gold score, it's 1K in favor of Gen G, but definitely a very big wake-up. You can see Cube, beautiful slicing Maelstrom, able to get all 3 members on the side of SANDBOX with it. But then right at the very end, Life looked like he was going to be able to live.
Peanut's like, yeah, no, you're fine.
렉사이플밖에 못 봤다.
나왔으면 끝내. 집갈게 들어.
나이스.
와, 이제 많이 봤다.
나 렉사이플밖에 못 봤다.
아, 렉사이 노플이었어.
아, 렉사이.
We can't finish it. We got a lot of profit. No flash. And they did, in fact, get a nice amount of profit. But as you did mention, Ghost still incredibly fed after all of that. Has the IE and the beginnings of a Zeal.
We'll have to see what the next fight ends up having for us, as Ghost will be present inside of it. He has the Infinity Edge now on Caitlyn. Blade of the Ruin King, however, completed for Ruler, as he's likely going to begin making his way to his second core item soon. And that's going to be the really scary spike for the Vayne. Take a look at the plates, and it was actually even collection, despite all of the stuff that happened down in bottom.
5 plates for mostly just Ghost. I suppose Joker was there for the first 3, maybe even the 4th one. Then split amongst 3 of Gen G up in the top side. 3 or 4, actually. They had 4 members pushing there. So all that gold going to be split evenly between the team. As you're mentioning, 800, 800. Now they're looking for Kive here. Does have slicing Maelstrom, but no flash, and already a nice amount of damage. Kive doesn't look like he even wants to use that ultimate. Finally does, but too little, too late, goes down 2v1.
That's a really unfortunate pickoff timing, as this will mean that Gen G are overextended right now for this fight. Oh man. They have to be really careful with the bindings. Peanut not quite sure what he's doing, but it looks like they want to get Joker, but that's going to cause the fight.
Take a look at Weiser's damage on the top side. He's already chunked out Life and Roach there. Another binding, though, going to sail wide, and unfortunately Ghost not quite able to stay in range and do that effective damage, but still a good fight here for the side of SANDBOX, who are now pushing down mid lane.
You can see those Caitlyn traps. Very frustrating to try to work against. They look like cupcakes. You like cupcakes?
I love cupcakes,
I love
actually.
cupcakes.
Cupcakes are my favorite treat. If you're a fan and you want to come down and treat something, that will be the one. Better than cake, better than pie, better than everything.
You know, I've never had pie.
What?
I've actually never had a pie. Yeah. I mean, Cube, he's gonna slice the Maelstrom. He's gonna look like a pie, but
Yeah.
I've never had it.
He's got pie on his face.
Yeah, he does. Joker flashing away there right at the very end, and you can see Weiser with the culling, able to do so much, but good Braum ultimate.
Yeah. Keeps Ghost out of range. Just too slow. As yeah, another Cloud Drake. We're just getting clouds and oceans today. It's, as you mentioned before, a little bit of a rainy day. We had a bunch of sun showers, so it wasn't so bad, but I suppose
It was definitely
Summoner's Rift is trying to role play.
Yeah. You know what the next series we'll have, though, Brendan?
Infernals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Infernals galore because of SK Telecom, so
Yeah, makes sense.
only the most exciting of dragons for that series.
Does seem the way it goes as Gen G. We're going to get a dragon for the first time in the series, so props to them. No steal coming in or anything like that. As, okay, finally, Infernal. Coming on in here. They heard us complaining.
Yeah. They're very angry now,
Yeah.
so
those who watch.
Yeah, Groudon.
The ones who actually control
Gonna
everything
finally
on the
make his
Rift.
way over to the Rift. Those are some interesting Caitlyn trap placements. As Ghost picks himself up a red buff. Hits level 11 as well. Not sure what the XP differential is on the Vayne. And if you're SANDBOX right now, you want to really be forcing the issue every single chance that you can around Caitlyn itemization spikes. Another binding ends up missing.
Life's got to be careful to just walk on traps at this point, as those headshots are going to begin hurting. Even if you do have the Unbreakable, always have to be cautious to take that much damage.
Really going to comment on how important the Infernal Drake is for both of these teams, as both have about 4 members, although you could argue that SANDBOX has 5 that can make use of it. It is quite a steroid, especially because the Caitlyn and the Lucian on the side of SANDBOX. That's Dove.
Okay.
Yeah, looking like he
Gunblade.
wants to get frisky.
Yeah, it was finished. They get the World Ender out of him and decide, well, we got some profit out of that one.
We're back into the Lost State, Brendan. We are even in gold.
I was getting excited there a little
What's
bit.
the topic?
Randuin's for the Olaf. What's your take on that one?
I think it's not bad. I think it's a pretty good item.
I feel like we don't see it taken as second item very often.
Yeah, we usually don't get to see it all that often. That and Locket of the Iron Solari, I do not feel come in as often as they once did. Once upon a time.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
As Ghost still unable to raise this mid-tier 1 turret.
He'll get there, slow and steady. It is a Caitlyn with red buff. And once again, it's kind of returned to this 2-on-2 scenario. As junglers are hanging around kind of as they did in the bottom lane, but not been able to have too much of an effect so far.
And finally the wave being pushed back now into Ghost. And this is it. This is the ping pong that we're just gonna be allowed to have. Anything coming up lately that's gonna excite you? Tell us.
Well, I got hockey tomorrow. That's fun. I like playing that.
That is the league
Sundays.
that you told me about.
Yeah.
Right.
I've joined a different league. Not
Oh, really?
just the League of Legends.
Oh.
Yeah. League number 2.
Well, something exciting that's coming up for me is the Infernal Drake in a minute and a half.
So we still
But
got a bunch
we might
of
even
time.
get a fight before it, as it looks like both teams are posturing a little bit prematurely.
It kind of feels like both these teams are already getting a little bit impatient and frisky. You know, they want to get into the fight already. SANDBOX have an insane amount of damage in their comp here, so they're really trying to lock this down.
I really don't think this is the timing which Gen G wants to be handshaking for a fight. They are still waiting on item completions. They have Aatrox up in the top lane, continuing to split. You can see they're extremely close to an item completion there on the Kennen. Instead, he actually ends up recalling, picking up double control wards.
Dat Macro coming on in as nobody was in the top side to stop the push, as Roach just going to take a casual free inner turret. Nobody there to stop him, as Dove was a little bit too late, so.
It's really unfortunate. Kennen was only about 200 gold, I believe, away from Morel and Omicron being able to be completed. But it doesn't look like he is going to be able to get there now before this dragon. However, will Crush on this Rek'Sai be able to get to the Black Cleaver or the Lucian? I think the answer is no. This dragon is so important right now.
Yeah, it's massive. I mean, both teams were trying to set up for it for a minute and a half now, so finally, this is coming to fruition here. The trap line is set up, and Dove looking for a bit of a flank in the top side. This is already going to be started
Lucian
on
has
up.
his Black Cleaver, I believe.
Yeah, Weiser going back. That certainly looks like an item timing. He's going to run straight into Roach, doing a nice amount of damage, but has to flash back straight into the cannon. He's getting so low, he's going to get ignited down, but they do
but
get
Ruler
the
goes down.
Oh no, Ruler! But a good slicing Maelstrom is going to come through and catch two of them here. The Rek'Sai goes down. Now it's going to be 2-on-2. The Randuin's here on top of Ghost is going to be enough to take him out as Dove with a triple kill on the backside of an insane amount of damage.
Yeah, and I mean, Weiser did his best to win that team fight for Gen G, flashing into the Aatrox and the Kennen, but it just wasn't enough as Ruler went down almost immediately at the start of the fight. And so this does mean that Infernal Drake is still alive and well, and SANDBOX should be the ones that get priority to it as well. Take a look at this fight. Watch Weiser with the fantastic flash of the year right into the Kennen, as well as Roach on that world-endered Aatrox. And that was a beautiful pin right there by SANDBOX on Ruler. And then right here, Dove just getting right into the nitty-gritty of the fight as Peanut turned all of his attention to Ghost at the end. Dove able to just finalize the kill and also retain his flash. SANDBOX, they have the priority to the Dragon.
And it looks like Gen G,
though,
is going to have more members here at the Infernal. Crush just getting on in there now as he had no escape. And no steal should come in as the smite is on time. No W steal for Morgana, of course. So Gen G, group up as 5. They knew how important that was.
Yeah. That was a massive victory for them to pick up right now here in the game. Amplification for the Aatrox, Vayne, and Cannons just quite out of this world right now. And it comes in at a time where they really need it, because the next team fight will likely decide the Baron for both of these teams.
Yeah.
Phantom Dancer and Rapid Fire Cannon, items of choice for Ghost on the Kate. Take a look at how this is all unfolding. Where is Joker right now? That's a little bit surprising. I think that's a question of the year. Yeah, he went straight to Baron. That was important. And so in doing so, Crush got crushed on the right-hand side river. As now we are going to have a little bit of a stalemate. Gold score at the top is slightly in favor of Gen G. But
what? I don't know why that was so funny for me. It's like you were calling them a B team. Either way, Roach here trying to get some help from Cube, and now Dove in a little bit of trouble. He's got Peanut behind him. Fails the flash. Now he's got Randuin's and an Olaf on top of him, so you're not getting away from that one, buddy. Doesn't matter if you are a Kali. And the team fight is going to go the way. It wasn't much of a team fight, to be honest, but it does go the way of Gen G. In the kill onto Dove.
Well, now at this point, Baron not going to be taken right away, despite Dove being down for quite a while. As it seems like Gen G are still content to just keep trying to scale up. You can see that Dove coming in here on Roach. Gets right on top of him. Teleport ends up getting channeled out of Cube. And then they don't end up killing Roach. They know that Peanut is right on the horizon, and as you mentioned, the flash not able to really do anything right there. And so in the end, it ends up being a pretty big win for Gen G as they get the flash off the Akali. Does come at the expense of a teleport, but really you don't need the teleport on the cannon at this stage of the game.
Okay, Weiser trying to get on in there. Nice try on the prediction binding, but Peanut not going to dodge that way. So Olaf kind of just hanging around the mid lane is going to be pushed away. Ghost picks up another BF sword. Packing on the damage here after both Phantom Dancer and at the fire can.
Well, Caitlyn ult coming out right into a Braum shield. Definitely one of the best uses of it I've seen.
Yeah, he's trying. He's testing his might, if you will.
Did you ever do that in Mortal Kombat?
No. Yeah, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Test your might?
That's what you do.
That was a good minigame.
That's what you do.
That really was.
Double Black Cleaver on the side of SANDBOX. You mentioned how that spike was going to be important towards the Infernal Drake. It seemed as if Weiser had it for that fight, but either way, now they've got 2 of them. And that's going to be nice for not only those 2 guys, but also the Caitlyn and her amount of attack damage that she's going to be doing.
Well, 28.5 minutes here in the game. Cloud Drake coming up next. It would be the second one for both teams. And it really just feels like, at this point, the SANDBOX team composition is really going to have its work cut out for them, as it's going to be difficult for them to get in and have easy access to beating Gen G now inside of a team fight. Sterex complete for Roach on the Aatrox, 3 items on the Vayne. And once she ends up getting a Guardian Angel and getting access to that armor as well as the passive, it's going to be quite scary, but maybe all of that can just be circumvented with a very cheesy Baron attempt.
Well, this is SANDBOX if we ever saw them, but you're going up against Olaf and Aatrox and Kennen, so you have to be so careful. Weiser with the Black Shield, an insane amount of damage though, coming out from Ghost here. Trying to go for the snipe, it's just going to hit him. Binding though onto Kennen, and he's going to go down immediately, but Weiser in the front line is going to be sniped here by Ruler. It's Ruler against the world in the front line, flashing on in, but he's going to stand on a trap and immediately go down. Not able to do the damage, and there it is. After that, they don't have much damage. Olaf used everything, and SANDBOX will win the fight.
Oh man, I don't know what to say about that. SANDBOX looked like magnets as soon as Cuvée got tagged. They just went immediately to him, and he had no way of getting into the fight. And you know what he wanted to do. He wanted to take the blasting pan over. He wanted to use the slicing maelstrom. That would have been a beautiful setup, but SANDBOX were, that was something else. That was very quick, and then they did the same exact thing to Ruler too.
That's what happens when you flash on a trap. Generally not a good idea. We're going to take another look here at the team fight, though.
So we see how this all ends up starting, and it looks fantastic for Roach. And then Cuvée, even though he had flash, he goes into the Fog of War. He wants to take the blasting plant over, and then watch, he gets hit by the binding. He can't cast R. He gets completely eviscerated before this fight even commences, and now watch Ruler. You can see getting a lot of damage, flashes onto a trap.
Headshot in the face right away.
Not the kind of mistake that you would ever expect out of him.
It was a close one. He said, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys might know what that means. And of course his teammates after that saying, let's go Baron, but
didn't end up doing it, which was a little bit surprising. So maybe they seem content to try to win one more team fight. And honestly, unless mishaps like that happen, it should still be in favor of Gen G. Flashing onto a trap and having your Kennen get binded right before his Miracle Engage are 2 things that are not likely to repeat themselves. Weiser zoned out on the right-hand side.
Yeah. You'll notice that Cuvée still does not have a stopwatch or a Zhonya's.
Yeah, it's very bizarre itemization path.
Yeah. I mean, he could have even just flashed straight up and then Zhonya's in the last fight if he had it.
Almost 0 magic resistance present on the side of SANDBOX, but Cuvée has elected to build the Void Staff because he sees the future right now, Brendan. You need to penetrate 40%
really progressive, you know?
of the absent magic resist on the side of the opposing team.
LS, what's 40% of 34? Can you tell me what number that is?
No, it doesn't work that way. First, the Morellonomicon and Sork Pen Boots come in first, so it's 40% of 1, Brendan.
Wait. No way, really? Oh, man.
Stop.
Oh, this poor guy.
Unless something's changed and I just don't know about it, because that could happen. I'm a coach caster, by the way, so I could potentially be wrong, but 40% of 1 is what he needed.
It's good you got that disclaimer in there, just in case. I would Yeah, well, here we go. Either way, Cuvée gonna get that engage in the backside. Still does an insane amount of damage. They somehow were not able to predict that one. And Cuvée is able to line it up. Crush, though, nice stopwatch there towards the end. It looked like he was kind of baiting them in there towards the end. And now Dove and Weiser full health. May try to come on in here and do a bit of damage, but it is 5-on-2 at the Baron.
And that is going to be Baron going over to Gen.G. And now with the Baron buff, I just imagine that it's going to be near impossible for SANDBOX to try to resist a push. And you have to wonder why SANDBOX were as far forward as they were. They have blue trinkets available. They didn't need to be up inside of the lane. There's not a dragon that was coming up. So now they're going to try to clear out all of the vision. As Gen.G recall. Zanya's now complete on the Kennen.
Yeah, was able to buy that up after this play.
And take a look at this, and look at how far forward SANDBOX is. The wave was already going to come into them by Gen.G, but they felt compelled to just be that far up inside of the middle lane, and Cuvée finds himself a nice engage right there. Even getting the stopwatch.
Caitlyn, nice, and then Baron, and then it's over is the translation we got there from Jishan. Thank you, Jishan. As we'll see if this game is over. We got 4-item Vayne, and if Cuvée keeps getting perfect backline engages like that, game is kind of over. But it'll be up to SANDBOX to stop that from happening.
SANDBOX are going to have to pull a miracle out of the hat if they are going to try to have a legitimate shot of still winning this game. With Cuvée actually backing off that enormous wave down in bottom, giving a lot of respect to the Akali.
Also coming in, ferrying the rest of the minions, and, well, Caitlyn and Morgana are pretty decent at stopping a siege. Dove trying his best to stop Cuvée, but he's down a level, and Cuvée with a lot of items after that last one, so definitely a rough feat indeed. As, okay, what the hell? Where did he go? I guess that magic pen really coming in and working its magic now.
Well, it was the 40% of the one that Akali has, so you know, you had to make sure that he got that right at the end. As the shurikens completely just clapped Dove into another universe. And that is definitely going to be all that she wrote for SANDBOX, unless Ghost performs a miracle on this Caitlyn somehow inside of this team fight. No matter what, 3 inhibitors going down, 75 will be triggered.
Yeah. Still a minute left on the Baron too. They have a nice amount of wave clear here with the Kennen. So gonna push in the first Nexus turret. And they've got Slicing Maelstrom available again, so could just go straight on in. Look at Cuvée, he's coming in from behind again. Gonna get straight into the face of SANDBOX and say, this is our game. And we will have another one as game number 3 will be happening.
This probably means that the SANDBOX main roster comes back in. And one of the things that I guess I want to talk about in situations like this, we'll see what ends up happening now in game number 3 as the main roster for SANDBOX is likely returning in full. As we take a look at the stats here, Cuvée having a phenomenal performance on the Kennen right there. Vayne and Aatrox are cosmically linked at 11.1k damage apiece.
That's good. You always like that synergy on your team. Olaf kind of dropping the ball. He's pretty far behind. But yeah, it really was just the Cuvée show, and I think we all know who the MVP is going to be, as Cuvée had a ton of amazing Slicing Maelstroms just coming in from behind. SANDBOX caught off guard multiple times and definitely did deserve to lose that one.
Yeah, they really did. And another thing that I got to point out is Joker's bindings that game. They were really off. Not what I was expecting to see.
I mean, there was like 1 or 2. But other than that, I'm on the same page too.
There we go. Just watch what ends up happening here to Dove. Cuvée telling Dove that, hey, you're outside of your shroud. Undertow misses. Doesn't really matter. Lightning Rush coming in. Proto Bell. It's all right.
Ooh.
It's an okay amount.
W and Q right at the same time.
She got zapped by Pikachu.
Hello, Thailand. Hello from Thai fan. So welcome, guys.
From Thailand. Go Genji fighting.
Even had Sarangeo saying I love you in Korean. So there you go, guys. We're actually going to have a game 3 here between SANDBOX and Genji. Genji, once again, their LCK lives on the line. They really want to win tonight and not rely on any other teams to keep them in the LCK. So able to win one here. We'll see if they can do it again after the break.